Welcome back to my channel, YouTube. This is TCTN, the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy because we just be doing stuff here, and sometimes it's like, what is she doing and why? And other times it's like, yeah, we used to it by now. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards, but just using whatever brand, whatever tool, and whatever technique you want to get your makeup on the way you want it to look. Self-acceptance and self-love is what we do here. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them when you want to, if you want to, but not feeling like you have to. That is the concept of the Crazy Troll Nation. Welcome to February 3rd. February in general, February among other things, is Black History Month. And so I thought, what can I do? So I'm going to, and you already know this from the title, I'm going to rank my Mothership palettes. And I want to clown myself because I think a year and a half ago or so, 2 years ago, I had none. I had some and then I got rid of them and I learned some new techniques, wanted to try them again, and now I have 7 motherships. Yeah, when I like something, I like something. So I'm going to rank them in order least to most liked. Again, I only have 7. Number 7, handy dandy label whore here. This is Mothership number 10, Moonlit Seduction. And this is what it looks like. This is the lowest ranking for me because there is not a lot of versatility in this palette. I like how ethereal looks look. They are not at all my preference. I like dark, smoky, dirty, grungy, and this is none of that. I have learned to appreciate it for what it is. I do like the looks that I did with this palette, but this is not my vibe. And when I said there's not a lot of versatility, I put one of these shades, either this one or this one, and I topped it with a shimmer, and then on the other lid, I just put the shimmer and it looked the same. So I'm like, what was the point? Like, it's supposed to look different. And I do have videos for all of my motherships, and I have it in a Pat McGrath playlist if you want to check those out and see what I'm talking about with this. It was disappointing. It was not disappointing enough not to keep it because it is what it is, and there is a time and a place for certain types of looks. And so I like it enough to keep it. It's just not my preferred vibe. So that is that one. The next one, number 6, Bronze Seduction. This is Mothership number 5. And I do think Bronze Seduction is one of the most popular ones because it's everyday basic. Like, look at this. You can't go wrong with it. You just can't. You just can't. What people consider work appropriate. To me, I wore stuff like this when I was working, and I wore, you know, darker eyeshadow looks and black lipstick to work. So work appropriate is whatever it is to you. This is like my everyday, and actually darker than this is my everyday, and the black lip is my everyday. So everyday to you is whatever your aesthetic is, and I'm not understanding really what wearable is, because if you wear it, it's wearable. So I'm just not always understanding the terms that are used for stuff, but this is safe. And that, you know, I can say because, you know, you can put either one of these in your transition, deepen it with this, pop one of these on the lid and you're done. Like you cannot, well, you probably could, but I doubt that you could mess up doing a look with this palette. So it's nice. It's not my vibe per se because it's not, you know, dark, but this deepens up shades really nicely. And this one shows up darker on me than I thought it would. And even this one on my complexion shows up darker than it looks. And so this surprised me in a way because I'm like, okay, this is going to be my skin tone. This is just going to be a little bit darker. And then this, but this shows up. First time I put this in my transition, I'm like, whoa, like, wait a minute, how do I tone it down? So I do like the palette. It does give me depth. But it's just what I call basic. And I do think that's why it's one of the most popular ones, because it's hard to go wrong with that. My next one, and I thought it was going to rank higher. This is Mothership number 4, and this is Decadence. This is the only one that smells like vanilla. It's the only one that's all shimmer / metallic. And I was really wanting for Pat to come out with an all matte palette, which she did, and I do want it. I don't mind going into other palettes for mattes or anything, and I have done complete looks with just this palette, so you can do complete looks with just this palette, and some of these shades do blend out to look like a matte, and so it doesn't bother me that this is all metallic / shimmer, satin, whatever you want to call it. It's a beautiful palette. I love the jewel tones. When I saw the 6-pan matte palette that she came out with recently, I was like, yeah, thanks, but can we go a little deeper here? Like, can we have some deeper shades? Because I would love for her to come out with an all matte palette that will complement this palette here. That would be a great companion, I think. And the one that she did come out with would too, but I just want darker. I want darker. I want smoke. So I thought this was going to rank higher because it is very unique to my collection and unique for Pat McGrath Labs to have an all shimmer, metallic, whatever type palette. And it's colorful. Like you have a rainbow in here. You can do what you want to do. And so, yeah, I was surprised it ranked where it did. So that ranked number 5. Number 4, 3, 2, well, yeah. So number 4 is Mothership number 2, which is Sublime. This one, I like it because I get smoke from it because of this black. And this is extreme black. It's in the first 3 motherships, and it doesn't bother me because it's great for deepening up or just using it for your upper lash line. And I'm not sure why this ranked in the middle, except maybe just because something had to be. This half of the palette is basic. But I find that layering the celestial shades over some of the matte shades is beautiful. And so that's kind of been my go-to when I use the motherships now, is depending on which celestial shade I'm using, I will top it over one of the mattes, and it's really nice. And so this is just in the middle, just because this is just like, it's in the middle. But I do really like this though. Something I've learned when I said I had motherships a couple years ago and sent them back, and I learned new techniques. One of them was using sponge tip applicators to apply the celestial shades. You're not going to tell me I have to use my finger, and you're not going to tell me I have to wet my brush, because you know what? This right here does it all. The colors go unsaturated. It goes on where I want it. It goes exactly where I want it, and I can blend out with this, and I don't need to get messy or do an extra step with using putting the shadow on a brush and then spraying a brush. Like, I ain't got time for all that. And so, and these work for me with any other shimmers or metallics, whether they're chunky monkeys like the celestial shades or not, because that was my thing. I hated the chunky monkey shades. I have to be in the mood still to deal with the chunky monkey shades, but I know when I pick up one of those, I'm going to get it where I want it. I can layer it over a matte, and I don't get a lot of fallout either. So that works well for me. So number 3 is Mothership number 6, which is Midnight Sun. I don't know why this one didn't sell well. It did not sell so well that it was on sale for a long time for, what was it, $70-something. And then they repackaged it, slapped a $50 Star Wars sticker on it, and called it limited edition. It was just $77, and then the next day it was $128 because it was a Star Wars. It was a sticker. Just sell the stickers, Pat. Hey, sell stickers for each Mothership palette that matches the packaging, because then label whores like me won't need to put labels on stuff. We'll know what Mothership it is without opening it up or without keeping packages, because I don't keep boxes. Boxes to me go in the trash because I don't keep boxes. But anyway, little rant there, not sorry. This one drew me in because the color story was different. When I started looking at motherships again after not being friends with the motherships, it was when Divine Rose came out, Divine Rose 2, and then Utopian Dream. I'm like, these all look the same. I don't want pinks, I don't want purples, I don't want mauves. And so when I wanted to really try the motherships again, I'm like, give me something different. And that's when I got the bundle. I think it was Total 2. It was Blind Seduction, Decadence, and Midnight Sun, I think. But because the color story is different, And it's a little dirty. This green right here, and this right here, and this right here, and mix it with this right here, gives me that dirty mustard, grungy, green swamp color that I like. And also with this red, and even mixing this with it. This satisfies them swampy, dirty, grungy, in a good way, looks that I like. So this is my vibe, and this is my number 3. I don't know why it did so well. I don't know. But this is one of my favorites. It really is. And there's only one chunky monkey in here, so that's a plus also. My next one, my number 2, I was kind of caught between, a couple of them, but Subversive, which is Mothership number 3, this is my number 2. And this one caught my eye because it's dark. And like I said, I don't want the pinks, I don't want the purples, I don't want the mauves. This is none of that. Like, this is my vibe. Whatever I do with this palette, if I put in either one of these or these two, and even a little of this one, I'm going to get my vibe. These are just side icing, because a lot of times with cake, I scrape the icing off because the cake is good on its own. So this to me is just extra. And it's controversial. Some people will say it's blasphemous. I know. They're like, oh, the celestial shades, the celestial shades. I love her mattes just as much as I love her metallics. I will say I like her celestial shades. I hate the chunky monkey celestial shades. And so you can keep the chunky monkeys, but these are not super chunky. These two are a little chunky. This is a dual chrome. Look at that. Because I'm sitting here like, why does it look red over here, but then it's purple up there, and now it's blue? So the 4 of these not being chunky monkeys is a plus. But anything I do with this, it's my vibe. This, I thought, where's my paper? I thought I had something in here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, paper with looks to do. I keep little sticky notes of stuff to do in my palette. So that's my number 2. My number 1 is Mothership number 1. And I almost didn't get this because it looks like it's cool tone. And it is, but for some reason, it leans neutral, kind of. The reason I got it is because it's dark. And dark is my vibe. I eyeballed it for a long time, and not because of the blue. And all I hear is, oh, the blue, the blue, the blue, the blue. I'm like, I'm not going to get a palette just for one shadow, especially at the price, which I did get on sale. I think I paid $70-something for it. And it's a $128 palette, I believe. And so, you know, even if you take out the blue, this palette is dark. These can be inner corner. Take out this blue, all of this, I'm gonna get smoked. And I kept looking at it and I'm like, but it's kind of cool tone. But then I kept going back to it, and the sale popped up 40% off, and I ordered it and I got it. And you know why this is number 1? I'm gonna tell you why this is number 1. This is my number 1 palette because all the other motherships I just showed you. Again, I have looks for all of these in my Pat McGrath playlist. And I do 5 looks, 1 video, something like that. A couple of them I think might have just been 1 look, and then another 1 look, and then another 3 looks or whatever. And I'll be like, okay, this look, I like it. Like the first couple looks, it was just like, okay, these are nice. And then I would do one. I'm like, okay, this one I really love. This is number 1 because the first look I did, I loved it. The second look I did, I loved it. That's rare for me. Her palette usually is the 3rd or 4th look. I'll be like, okay, this is me. The first 2 is like, this is nice. It's ethereal. It's cute. It's pretty. It's not my vibe though. But this one, and I did it simple. The first look I did is upside down. I can hold it this way since I got the paper over the mirror. The first look I did, I used the entire top row. Simple, right? Loved it. The second look I did, the entire bottom row. Simple. Loved it. That's why this is number 1, because I loved the first 2 looks off the bat. The other ones, as I said, it's like, okay, this is nice, not my vibe. This is cute, not my vibe. 3rd or 4th look, okay, yeah, we can rock it. This one right here, I questioned it, and when I got it and I did them 2 looks, I was like, whoo, whoo, whoo. All right, so we're going to go backwards. And I'm stacking them so I don't mix them up because they all look the freaking same. So my number 7, Moonlit Seduction. Not a lot of variety. Light ethereal looks all the way. My number 6, Mothership number 5, Bronze Seduction. Nice, pretty. Can't go wrong. My next one, I'm stopping with numbers already. 5? Yeah, number 5 is Decadence, which is Mothership number 4. Jewel Tones. It's just a beautiful palette. It's just beautiful. And it smells like vanilla. My number 4 is Mothership number 2, Sublime. Got a little bit of smoke, but other than that, it's... My number 3, Midnight Sun, is different. This is unique to my collection. This is different. I just don't know why it's not selling the way they wanted it to the point where they... I'm not going to talk about that no more. My number 2 is Mothership number 3, Subversive. You got your smoke. You got this is also like, this is just it. This is my vibe. Because you're going to get dark, you're going to get smoke. And I believe this was supposed to be like the avant-garde palette. Different than like her other 2, because this was number 3. Yeah. So this was supposed to be like the avant-garde, like do like the out there editorial type looks. But for me, they're everyday looks, except I don't do wing liner too well. I mean wing shadow too well. But this is different, and it's smoke and it's dark. Hands down, number 1, Subliminal. Loved it off the bat. You want to get smoke out of here, period. Unless you just do transition and your lid and inner corner. This blue crease is on me. It's the only shadow that creases on me, and I've heard other people say no matter what this creases. I have not heard anyone say it doesn't creases, and I'm not saying it doesn't not crease on everybody, but if it doesn't, they haven't been saying it. I've only heard people say this blue creases regardless, and it did crease on me every time I used it. But you take out the blue, this palette is smoke, pure smoke. And that's my vibe. I love it. So that is it. Let me know what you think about my lineup here. I will put it in a pinned comment if I remember like where they are in the ranking. I'm saying it slow because I need to try to remember to do that. Because I'm not always good with pinned comments. Because I need to wait till the video goes live or go roundabout and set it for private, then do the comment, and then set it back to schedule it, and then I'll put it in the description box. That's how we're going to do that. So thank you for being here. Also, there's a lot of other information down below, a lot of links to a lot of things, and some affiliate links for shopping. If you're an Amazon shopper, feel free to use any of the links. And even if you don't buy what the link goes to, even just being on Amazon through that link, I still will get commission off of that. And so it is appreciated. No pressure. You don't have to. I will never know. I don't know who buys what or whatever. So that'll just be it for this video. If you have Pat McGraths, let me know what your top 3 are and why. Because I know some people are collectors and they buy everything that she comes out with, or at least every Mothership. And I'm like, you're not getting me with the pinks, purples, and mauves. Like, I'm not doing that. And it surprised me, seriously, that I now have 7. It did, because I had no intention. That 40% off sale, the ones that were on my mind when she had the sale, I was like, oh. And then I still waited, and the sale continued. Because I'm thinking, oh, look again, the sale will be over. The sale was still there. Click off the website, kept waiting. The next week, went back, sale was still there. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to just get it. But I waited. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the sale to be gone. And it wasn't gone. It's gone now. But at that time. So anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you for being here. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Let me know what you think of this video, and you will see me in the next one.